What is up, ladies and gents? You know what time of day it is. It's XCN time, and in today's video we're going to be discussing what's been happening here on XCN. We're going to be talking about what the price has been doing, a price prediction for the shorter term, so over the coming days here on XCN, as well as my 2025 target here for XCN. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. Of course, if you're a new viewer, then welcome to the channel. If you do like this sort of content, hit the like button and subscribe for more. If you are a returning viewer, then welcome back to the channel. As always, it's great to have you all here. Just like yesterday's video as well, I want to hear from you guys. If you haven't yet commented, comment down below whether you are a long-term holder here on XCN. For example, you're willing to hold your XCN throughout 2025, or are you more of a short-term holder here? You're looking to enter and exit your position multiple times throughout this bull run. Comment them down below. Of course, always love to hear from you guys. Let's get started in this video. And so heading straight onto the price chart here of Onyxcoin, we're on the 1 hour chart right at the moment. Of course, we have a lot to discuss since yesterday's video because some important things have happened here on the charts. Of course, yesterday I gave you this main structure that we were looking at, defined by these two lines. The first one with resistance going down a little bit like this. Of course, this is the resistance that's been keeping Onyxcoin in this bearish trend that has felt like forever now. Honestly, if you've been holding Onyxcoin throughout this whole period, give yourself a tap on the back. You deserve a lot of respect for all the pain that you've gone through. Of course, I do think there's going to be better days here for XCN when things return to bullish. But for now, this is the reality of the situation. We are in this downtrend with this resistance defining the trend there. We've also got a very important support. And yesterday, the support level was this here, connecting the lows of the price that we've had since that high there at the end of January. Of course, as you can see, the price has come down to this level on several occasions now. Before, in yesterday's video, that number was 3, as I've circled here. But as of today, have a look at what's happened to the price. You can see that after yesterday's video, the price actually did dump. It almost made a perfect test of this support once again. Pumped quite a bit of that support, so we know that buyers were eyeing this level to buy into Onyxcoin. However, it wasn't enough, and the prices actually started to come below this support line. So a very scary moment here for Onyxcoin. Of course, if we had lost that level, there were some other levels that I was looking at, but this, my friends, was almost a breakdown from this triangle. That would have had a severe price. That would have had quite a big price implication there. Obviously, the price target from a triangle to the downside, if we do successfully break out, is of course minus 52%. So that's honestly, as a holder, something we want to avoid. The really good news is, in the shorter term, is that we've actually come back above this support here. And how do we know that this is not a breakout to the downside and this upside here is just temporary? Well, if we have a look on the volume supports the fact that we are still holding this level fairly well. When the prices did break down below this triangle, let's just clear that up a little bit. As you guys can see on the volume chart at the bottom, when the prices started to dive down below this support line here, you can see that the volume didn't really rise at all. The volume was still fairly low. There was no rise in volume like we saw over here, for example. And as you guys can see, as the prices started to head back up, we start to see an increase in volume once again. So the dynamic here is shifting a little bit. This suggests that we should be bullish in the shorter term and not bearish here on the price, because when the prices are dipping, we don't see that increase in volume. The sellers are getting exhausted. And when we start to see the prices go up, the buyers are generally giving more volume than the sellers are. So this is a very subtle good sign here on Onyxcoin in the very shorter term. Of course, if we can keep this up, maybe that could provide the springboard that XCN needs to start making some new higher highs and higher lows here, and eventually come to break out to the upside of this triangle. So of course, all eyes on that at the moment. I'm going to be giving you several scenarios that I'm potentially looking at here in the shorter term as well. As time is running out for this structure here, as you guys can see, if I extend this resistance and I extend this support, eventually we're going to have to see XCN make up its mind. And at the very latest, that should be on the 27th of February. It's either going to break through this extremely strong support that we have, or it's going to break through this extremely strong resistance. So right now, So some of the scenarios that we could see here on XCN. I'm going to start with the most bullish scenario. Of course, this is the one that I'm praying happens for all us holders. And of course, the most bullish scenario here on XCN at the moment is a breakout to the upside from this triangle. Of course, if we see a breakout to the upside on this triangle, we would expect to see a huge price target here on XCN. We take the distance between the first test of the support down here to the first test of resistance. We drag this to wherever we see a breakout. And as you guys can see, this measuring tool gives us a price target here of 4.5 cents if we break out tomorrow. Of course, that is 104% trade if the prices get up to this resistance and we see a convincing breakout to the upside. Of course, if we do see this and you've not got a good place yet to trade Onyxcoin, then look no further than the MEX exchange. This is the place that I personally go to do all of my trading. And some of the reasons for that is because they have some of the lowest fees on the market. They don't require KYC to trade. And of course, on top of all of that as well, for a limited time only, they're giving every new user who signs up using the link down below a free $20 to get started trading. So all you have to do if you want to make use of this offer is click in the link down below, fill out your details. It takes less than a minute to sign up. Deposit some fiat or crypto into your account, and then you can get started straight away. And on top of normal trading here for XCN, they even have futures trading where you can trade XCN with up to 20 times leverage. So again, if you want to make use of the offer, click the link in the description down below for MEX. Of course, as always, thank you so much for all your support on the channel. Back into this video. So of course, if we see that breakout, that's 104% trade. Another possible target that we could be seeing is the result of a breakout from this bigger resistance here that we also might be seeing on Onyxcoin. And of course, this is another resistance that I'm just watching as well. If we do see a breakout to the upside from this resistance, then we could expect to see a trade of 127%. So the way I'm just looking at this basically is that this level here would be a price target number 1, and then this upper level here is a price target number 2. If the prices continue to shoot up past 4.5 cents, then 5 cents would be the next target here. Of course, 5 cents would be very nice as well, because that would be the same price level as the previous high there. So that would be a great take profit level in my opinion anyway. So these are some of the upsides that we'd be looking for as a breakout, as a result of the breakout from that triangle. Now, how do we know when we've broken out? Well, the best way to show you guys is just to show you with the example that we had back in mid-January on Onyxcoin. As you guys can see, we had this very convincing chart pattern occur here on Onyxcoin. We had quite a nice little triangle formation on the Onyxcoin price. You can see prices were quite volatile, coming up to this 1 to 1.5 cents level. Then it started to calm down a little bit. Prices were doing literally nothing in this region, and then we saw another breakout to the upside. And if you just really zoom in onto that breakout, have a look at the candle there that started to break out from this resistance. Compared to all the candles before it, the candle here was extremely large, and it was accompanied by an increase in volume as well. And that's exactly what we want to see when we see these breakouts. We want to see large green candles, and we want to see an increase in bullish volume, taking the prices much higher here on XCN. Of course, as you guys can see, the volume was next to nothing in this period, and then the volume after the breakout shot straight up. So this is what we're looking for. You really want to go on a short-term chart here. If the prices get to this resistance and we start to see a breakout accompanied by an increase in volume, that would be very good. So this breakout is scenario number 1. And so now we have scenario 2, the one that I think is most likely at this point, is that we go lower before seeing a breakout to the upside from this triangle. What that means is we could expect the prices to continue heading down a little bit like this, for example, before we see some buying pressure occur, where it takes the prices up back into this triangle and maybe even break out through this resistance. Of course, if this scenario occurs, then this price target as a breakout through this resistance would be the same as scenario 1. We'd expect to see at least 100% trade to the upside. Of course, the reason for this scenario is that we've seen this ultra strong support at the 1.8 cents level. So roughly around here-ish actually. And this is a really strong level, because if we have a look throughout Onyxcoin's history, you guys can see that it was a resistance back here in 2025. And also a level of support for the price after it came above this level. Not only that in 2025 as well, but it has a long history. If we go back to 2023, it was an important top for the price as it was heading down lower. So this has been a very long-term resistance here on Onyxcoin. Of course, it's been well respected in 2025 as well. So we would expect this level to have quite a lot of buying pressure. What we might expect to see then is something similar to what we've seen just over the past few hours. The price is headed down on less volume. The buyers stepped in after the price is headed down below this support level and pushed the prices back up. So what we might see then, if the price tries to do that once again, we head a little bit lower than we did last time. And as we get to this 1.8 cents level, we would expect there to be a lot of buying pressure, with the theory that this blue line here, this support, has been tested so many times in the past, and that is a very significant level. So we would expect to see an increase in buying volume as the prices get down to this level. If that buying volume is there, this could take the prices on Onyxcoin back up above that support there into the triangle once again. And if this buying pressure is enough, that could take it past this resistance as well. Something along the lines of what we see over here, you know, a sharp dip that was eaten up very quickly by buyers there. Same that we saw over here as well. If we see that dip down to this 1.87 level and we start to see a structure like this, that could be very bullish. It could signal a change of trend here from this bearish trend that we've been seeing into a bullish trend for the future. Of course, remember guys, this all depends on the buying pressure that we get at this level. If it's not enough to push the prices above, then very likely we could be heading lower here on Onyxcoin. This would be the next potential level that I'd be looking at here on Onyxcoin, anywhere in this range between 1.2 cents there all the way to 1.4 cents as the next level down. Of course, what that could look like, for example, is something like this, where the prices start to take a dip like this, pretty sharp, and at some point around this area, if we can see some buying pressure, hopefully that will be enough to start taking the prices back above here on Onyxcoin. Of course, if that doesn't occur and the buying pressure is very weak, then instead we could see something like this, where it hovers around this area for a little while. And of course, if we get to that area, we're going to continue analyzing the price and then seeing what happens next. It could be a bearish or a bullish formation. We don't know yet, but we know that this level here, this area at this price here, is very significant for Onyxcoin. So we'll see what happens if we get there. But for now, we're holding this 1.8 cents level, and that's what matters. Of course, scenario number 3 is the most bearish scenario, and that basically just entails that we see the price target of this triangle met to the downside. At the end of the day, we've seen a slight breakout from this triangle. We have recovered, and it wasn't a convincing breakout, so it hasn't really happened yet. But let's say we do see another dip. This time we get more bearish volume, then we could see a trigger to the downside because of that breakout to the downside from this triangle. And of course, that could send prices all the way down minus 51% from wherever we see a breakout. If we break out tomorrow to the downside, for example, that could send the prices here as low as 0.9 cents. Now, like I say, there's going to be some important levels along the way that the prices will have to break through. So these could be good prices to see what happens with Onyxcoin. If we do get to, say, this level down here and we see a lot of buying pressure and a trend reversal pattern, then that could be enough to tell us that that would be a great place to start buying in Onyxcoin. However, if we don't see that, then we would expect to see 0.9 cents here on Onyxcoin. So that's scenario number 3. Of course, if we have a look at the MACD, my favorite indicator here for Onyxcoin, you guys can see that I've given you this triangle pattern here on the MACD. If you see my previous videos, you would have seen this before. And of course, with the price here on Onyxcoin, we can also see a very similar triangle on the MACD. That gave me extra conviction in the fact that we are seeing this triangle, and if we break out, we will see those price targets met. However, if you have a look at what the MACD has done quite recently, as of yesterday, we have broken to the downside of this MACD triangle. So in theory, the MACD has broken down with the price here. The price broke down below its support, and the MACD had also broken down below its support at the same time. Now, the MACD hasn't reclaimed that support yet. It's testing it, Maybe we see this on the MACD, for example, as the prices head down towards 1.8 cents. But yeah, that could be a potential breakdown from the MACD. Of course, that could also mean that if the prices also start to head down on an increased bearish volume, then that could push the prices down lower as well. But it's not all bad news, because the MACD is also showing us some divergences that I see. For example, if I just get rid of these trend lines here. So of course, what we've seen over the past few days on the MACD, if we connect the lows here of the MACD price over the past week, for example, you guys can see that the support line for that is slightly heading upwards. It's almost flat, but it's definitely not bearish whatsoever if we look at this line. It's basically flat. But if we look at the same time period here on the price and draw the support for the price going in this downwards direction, this line here is clearly bearish. Let me just get rid of those so you guys can see that clearer. Of course, what that means is that even though the prices are dipping here on Onyxcoin, they're getting lower and lower, we're not seeing the momentum get more bearish. We're seeing a divergence, a hidden divergence, which could hint at a potential trend reversal. Of course, if the trend right now is bearish, then that means that in a few days to a few weeks, we might start to see a new bullish trend emerge here on Onyxcoin. So in my opinion, this does support scenario 2. What also supports scenario 2 as well is that we're starting to see the major crypto coins starting to pump from very important supports. So we've seen XRP, we've seen Sol, and we've seen Ethereum pump from very important supports. If we have a look at XRP, for example, we've seen it pump from this support just over the past few days, and now it's wedged in this similar triangle pattern as XCN is. Now you might be asking, what relevance do these large market cap coins like XRP have to XCN holders? Well, basically we see XCN kind of reflect what XRP does, but with a delay. So if XRP is bullish, then we will also see XCN be bullish, but with a delay to that. If you remember, XRP pumped at the start of November there to get to its high at the start of December, and it also started pumping at New Year's Day there to get to its high on the 16th of January. Now, in the same time frame, XCN wasn't doing all that much until basically the 13th of January, and then it got to its high on the 26th, which is basically a 10-day delay from XRP. So if XRP starts to be bullish like this, it breaks out of its triangle, for example, then we wouldn't expect to see that straight away here on XCN, but maybe after a few days, we will start to see XCN follow XRP. Exactly the same for ETH as well. If Ethereum is bullish, that's going to be bullish for quite a lot of the crypto market, including XCN in my opinion. And ETH, as you can see, has bounced back from a very important support there. If we just zoom out, you guys can see why the support line is drawn on the screen. It's been a strong support now for Ethereum since 2022. Same for Solana as well. We have a very important support on Solana. Let's just draw that in. As you guys can see, over the past few days, Solana has come down to the support and it's bounced off it quite nicely as well. So we could start to see some really nice price action here on all these major crypto market, all these major cryptos, and that's going to be very bullish here for XCN. Of course, on top of that as well, if we go onto CoinMarketCap, and on the CoinMarketCap homepage, you can see this fear and greed index, and right now we're neutral. And as you guys can see, the fear and greed index went down to 35 there, which is fear. The last time that happened was August and September of 2024. And as you guys can see on the chart, that's when the local dip of Bitcoin was, when the prices went down to 50,000. Soon after we came out of this fear region back in 2024, the prices of Bitcoin ripped all the way to $100,000 there, sending the crypto market into extreme greed. And of course, when it went into extreme greed, that was the local top for Bitcoin. Now we should be seeing the same premise play out once again. Of course, this period of fear over the past few days could mark a very important bottom here for cryptos. And as the price and as the sentiment returns to neutral, then back to greed and extreme greed, then so should the markets pump accordingly as well. So maybe over the past few days, we've seen some very important bottoms in the major cryptos. For XCN, with a delay, we would expect to see its bottom closing in now. Maybe over the next few days, we see a bottom in its price, and then we start to see that trend reversal from bearish to bullish. Of course, as soon as we break through this trend line that's been in play there, that for me would mark that for me would mark the change between bearish to bullish here on the price. And of course, and lastly, just remember that when we do flip bullish here on Onyx Coin, the bullish trends tend to happen a lot quicker than bearish trends. What that means is that when we start to flip bullish here on Onyx Coin, the prices will rise in a matter of hours or days, just like we saw here back in January 2025. And this sort of price action can erase any losses on Onyx Coin in a matter of hours. So remember, it took weeks for Onyx Coin to drop 50%. But Onyx Coin has the capacity to do 100% to the upside in a matter of hours, completely erasing the whole downsides that we've seen for the past few weeks. And that's why patience really pays off here, especially here in crypto, when we generally tend to see bullish price action in the form of these pumps. And of course, the last thing you want to do when you see a pump like this is to be sidelined, particularly if you've been holding for so long. You've enjoyed so much pain anyway holding Onyx Coin. Just be in it for the pump that we get, the light at the end of the tunnel that we will see one day. But at the end of the day, prepare yourself for all the scenarios that I've mentioned in the video, particularly if you're a shorter term holder here. If you are a longer term holder and you want some more conviction here on Onyx Coin, then don't forget to check out my video, 14 reasons why XCN could 14x in 2025. That should give you the conviction you need to hold here long term. Of course, if you are holding XCN but you're not yet staking it, make sure you watch this video here on how to stake your XCN, because you could be earning passive income just for holding XCN. For example, if you staked $1,000 of XCN, by the end of the year, you would have an extra $370 in XCN, and that's not taking into account any price appreciation here on XCN whatsoever. So it's just an easy way to earn extra passive income if you're holding XCN. Of course, again, let me know down in the comments if you are a shorter term holder or a longer term holder. But otherwise, thank you for watching this video and have a great rest of your day.